We finished up a good workout. We're going to work out again tomorrow and then have a light practice on Sunday. We have our banquet. Then the players have finals, exams, so they're off for about 4 days. And then we start back up Friday night. And we just continue on with bowl practice. We've had some good workouts and pretty competitive practices, so it's good to get the guys back here and get the coaches back from traveling around and recruiting. But looking forward to another good week of work and getting some quality reps with some younger players, mixing in some varsity reps and then getting some younger guys a little work. So we've had some good practices.
How was the experience in Atlanta last night?
It was good. It's that's a great setting. I'd been a few times before, but that's the first time I'd been to Atlanta, the College Football Hall of Fame, and they do a really good job with that. You have all the kind of the who's who of college football there, so it was a nice show, and I was excited for James and obviously Mason being there. So it was a neat setting for all of us.
Between the awards and prepping for the bowl, and now that early signing day, ramping up recruiting a little more, are you adjusting to that? I mean, it's different than it's been in the past, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's a lot of traveling, for all of us, myself included, and we just don't have a lot of time to hang out much. And so I would still favor the early signing period, but it's definitely much more of a challenge for the coaches in trying to decipher what we're going to do with our time, with game preparation, practice, and spend time with the players that we plan on signing on the 20th.
Now that you're into this a little bit, your thoughts on Virginia Tech, that you've had a chance to look at it and the coaches have had a chance to watch tape and game plan a little bit?
This is going to be a really good matchup. As I watch more, I'm not so sure this is not the best defense that we've played. They're giving up 13 points a year, so obviously they fared very well. They're really big inside. I think it's pretty safe to say it's probably the best secondary that we've played against this year. And then offensively, they're going to run their quarterback some. And not as much of that tempo as maybe that we see in this league. They're good on special teams. They're averaging 28 yards a return. So they're a really good football team. There's a reason why they won 9 games. And their losses were against quality opponents. So it's a really good matchup.
You spend so much time with Mason and James. What's it like to see them have everything come all together for those awards like that?
Well, they're special. This is a really unique group, and I don't think there's any question the relationship and the time that they've spent together and the success that they've had, both on the field and off the field, has been very fun for us all to watch. It kind of hit us, Coach Dunn and I both last night when we were coming home on the plane, and for 3.5 years we've been able to rely on those guys making big plays, and so it'll be a challenge for us moving forward without having those guys in your back pocket when you're game planning.
When you hired Josh Henson this year, I'm sure you expected the progress that you guys have had. Sack numbers are way down, but what's impressed you most about what he's been able to do with the offensive line?
I think the transition for an offensive line coach is always difficult. He's got a lot of work ahead of him, but he understands the technique and fundamentals. I think one of his strengths is he's able to take a young man and see what his strengths are and where he needs some help, for lack of a better term, where his weaknesses are, and he plays to their strengths. I think that's the advantage that we have in having him coaching for us.
You talk about looking at the young players a little bit, and you were asked about Mason and James, and you've got a lot of seniors. Do you like what you see of the young guys that you'll really get into with in the spring, but you like what you see there?
I guess, we don't know a lot about them. I mean, you got to play the games. It'll definitely be a development stage for us. we have so many guys playing that don't have very much experience. For one, we'll have a quarterback that doesn't have any experience. So, you never really know. You got to let them play and find out where they're at. Do I think that we have good young players in our organization? Sure. But until they get out there and play, you never really know.
Do you use this bowl practice as an opportunity to get some of those guys a little more reps in practice?
Yeah, we've been giving them some work. But it's still different when you go out there on the game, or in a game, I should say. We'll do everything we can. We'll have a lot of work in the spring, but it's just different when you get into the season.
How unique is it to face off against a guy you recruited back then? I heard both you tell stories about that in Fuente and what that kind of relationship, what it's like to face off against him here way down the road.
Yeah, I haven't really crossed paths with Justin much in the coaching profession. He was at TCU for a while, and then obviously has done very well for himself and has put Virginia Tech in a position where they've been pretty consistent in the top 25 in the last couple of years. And so, it'll be neat. Vance Weiss is on that staff. Brad Cornelison works here for us, and he's the coordinator. So we've got some ties with them, guys that are having success. It's nice to see them do well, and they're obviously doing the right thing. They've had won quite a few games over the last couple of years.
Brad was a GA when you were OC. Is that right?
Yeah, and then he came back and worked for me in maybe 11 or something. I can't remember what year. I don't know what year it was. But he worked with us when I was an offensive coordinator. Then he came back and worked with us when I was a head coach.
It's kind of been a national discussion question the last couple of years of guys who are foregoing their bowl game when they know they're going to be drafted. Was there ever a question or a discussion with those guys here?
It's funny you brought that up. I was thinking about that sitting up there in the tower about 30 minutes ago, and that has not been brought up around here. And I had forgotten about it. Last year, I was concerned because I thought that could really impact college football in the games, because when you have the type of players like we have, you want to see them playing the bowl game. And if they start to fold across the country, what does that do for your bowl games and your team? So that was never brought up to me, and I was excited that. Not surprised with Mason and James. One, they like to play in the games. Two, they love being here. So I wasn't surprised, but I am excited that. Well, I don't know. Is there anybody this year skipping?
Texas.
A couple guys.
Oh, they did. I didn't know that. So
You credit your culture because
I think the players here care about each other. I really believe that. I think they. It's important to them to be around each other. Like with James last night and Mason, they were in Atlanta for 2 days and had an unbelievable experience. I just flew down there for the show and came back. But James wins the award and gets on the stage, and with all due respect, he just wanted off the stage, and he had to go upstairs and do the media and take the pictures and all that. And he was thrilled and very honored, but that's not what he wants to do. He wanted to get back. Today it was interesting. He gets taped, puts his sweatshirt on, puts his pads, and comes out here and starts working. It's no big deal to him. Everybody treats him the same, and that's the way he wants to be. And Mason's the same way. Mason's in Baltimore accepting the Johnny Unitas. But those two guys, it never really crossed their mind, in my opinion.